Welcome back, everybody, to Rob's MetalWorks. We are here ending out the month of February, continuing to do our work as we bring you the best in San Antonio metal and rock and fucking roll. And tonight is a special night as we bring you one of the best here in our city, a band that I've had a long-standing admiration for. Yes, the guys in Rebel Angels are here.
Yeah. Rebel Angels on the scene, man. What's going on?
Yeah. Oh, man. So good to have you guys here in the studio, and I'm so glad that we've had an opportunity to kind of get further acquainted over some drinks.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having us, brother.
Good times, right? It's what it's all about. Cheers. Cheers. You know, I've been talking about Rebel Angels on our platform for over a year now, and to me, it's a beautiful thing to see all the great things that have been happening for the band in such a short amount of time. So I know that fans and people in the industry are like feeling the same way I am. Like, this is something pretty fucking special.
Right on, man. You know, we're excited to continue showing you guys what we're all about, and this next year is going to be a great year for us. We're excited to be here and share it with you guys. Thank you for having us, brother.
You know, Mauricio, I know you. I've known you for many years.
Yes, sir.
I've always been a fan of yours, bro.
Fucking
I
likewise.
think you're like one of the best fucking singers in our city, and have been for quite some time.
You honor me, brother. Thank you.
So I know a little bit about your background. I don't know about these dudes' backgrounds too much. Mm-hmm. Of course, let me just reiterate. We were jamming downstairs, the Down Generation EP that came out in 2016.
Yeah, man.
I love that record.
Where does
you
the time go,
with
dude?
Me
we did. We did. We were here right at this table.
Yeah.
Time flies, man. Where does it go?
8 years ago.
Dude.
8 years ago.
But here we are now, man.
And, you know, thank the universal power that we're here and healthy and we're still able to contribute to heavy music here in our city. So I just want to really quickly, just so that people have a good foundation about Rebel Angels, let's give Gabe and Bob and Stan a quick opportunity to share a little bit about their musical backgrounds in this city.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and introduce everybody real quick.
Yep.
What do we got on lead guitar?
Gabe Jimenez.
On the drums?
Bob Rules.
And on the lead bass?
Stan Martinez.
All right. What do you want to know, Mr. Rob?
Yeah, let Gabe really just quickly talk about his background before Rebel Angels.
Sure.
Cool, man. So, yeah, you know, I've been over here in the scene as far as San Antonio now for quite some time. So a little bit over 10 years. Haven't gone through the works, doing the whole thing as far as here, local here, San Antonio, up 35 to Austin, just playing everything from just basic root rock music to, you know, a lot of like Texas blues. So very inspired off of, you know, Stevie Ray Vaughan, guys here like San Antonio, Texas, as far as Chris Dorothy, you know, crazy, awesome blues guitarist, as well as like Ruben V, for instance, you know, from Corpus, but, you know, later on moving here to San Antonio after his MetalWorks himself, you know, and just picking up, I guess, where they left off, man. And aside from that, as far as my style and my play is rarely derivative off like that Texas blues. So what I can actually add to, you know, the equation, that's pretty much basically what you're going to get.
Dude, I love your vibe, bro. I've seen you play, and I was going to ask you earlier tonight, where's that fucking Diamond Les Paul? Right?
Yeah, man.
You still have it in your collection?
Yeah, it's there. It's there definitely, you know. But I've, in fact, since then, you know, weaned out a lot of the gear that in which I got. So that way I have less, you know, areas in which I have to worry and they're focused on. So taking like the distractions away and really kind of focusing on like my main workhorses, you know, and that's basically what the Rebel Angel sound is.
Dude, you got a great vibe. I love how you play. I love how you perform. And I think we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but I think that's very, very important, especially as the only guitar player in the band.
Exactly.
For
yeah.
sure.
It's some sonic space to cover. Yeah.
For sure. All right. Bob, tell me a little bit about your background.
Oh, man. Well, I started in the music scene here back in 2000, 2001 in the White Rabbit days. I actually used to watch your show on public access.
Used to?
Well, yeah. But, well, it was my dream to always I would see your show and be like,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
I would love to be a part of that. But I was in
Wow.
the crappy bands in the backstage.
Wow, okay.
Didn't get the break in the front.
Wow,
But I've been
okay.
doing drums since I was a kid.
You honor me. Thank you.
After that, I went around the nation doing drums and other, punk bands, rock bands. And then I came back to the roots, which is these guys. And it felt right. Something felt different because we're all from the same neighborhoods. We all had the same kind of upbringing. And it kind of felt right compared to any other band I've ever done. And
so you're from San Antonio.
Oh yeah, born and raised Southside.
And Gabe, you're from San Antonio.
Yep. West Side, Southside.
West
yeah.
Side?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Julie's from the West Side.
So yeah, that's
I always criticize her for it.
that's my roots and that's our roots.
Damn!
And also being the guy that does the art for the band, it's a huge honor that they trusted me to do the logos, album cover, T-shirts, posters.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, man. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you were telling me you were a tattoo artist, and that goes beyond just tattooing. You're also an artist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah. So did you do the logo with the Rebel Angels, the one that's kind of like crooked like that?
Yes.
Oh yeah. All of them. Yeah. All of them. Yeah.
So he did the just about everything that you've seen from us,
Yeah.
with the exception of one, has been hand drawn. Matter of fact, by Mr. Bob Rules.
Yeah.
So the album cover with the flaming skull head, he drew. Also, we have the black and white version, and yes, the crooked letters. That's all Bob.
That's
Yep.
so cool. Like that you have dudes in your band who can do artistic stuff, and later we're gonna talk about stands, recording, work, that all contribute to making this band be on the market and successful. So that's cool that you can do all that internally.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
All right.
It's a huge
all right.
help.
Let's talk about Stan now.
All right, Mr. Stan, take it
Mr.
away.
Stan.
Right on.
Stan, I'm kind of disappointed you didn't wear the white outfit tonight.
I know it, man. It's in the cleaners.
Yeah,
Man. Yes. It's
I love
definitely-
it though, bro.
But I kind of kept the feel of the black and white.
You always
know?
look super cool at the shows.
Well, thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
that. Yeah, I haven't played a lot in original bands. There's only been one other band. I've been Target 7 back years ago. Other than that, been a lot of cover and tribute bands.
Okay.
Playing all over Texas with whatnot. But I enjoy writing original music.
And you're from San Antonio too?
Yes. I'm
All right,
from
that's
here.
cool.
Yes.
That's cool. Yeah, so there's been a lot of people that I interview who, and I just talked to somebody today who told me that their musician friends said, man, San Antonio's fucking hot. I'm moving to San Antonio to be part of their music scene. And, I think sometimes, I'll be the first to say this adamantly that we're kind of spoiled here in San Antonio just because of our long history, our cloth, and the quality of bands that come out of our city. It's just people want to be a part of it, and people who don't have that kind of community or that kind of quality in their own music scene, they just want to come be part of ours. So I always wanted to make sure that you guys were here from San Antonio, and no wonder that you're so powerful now as a unified project. So how did you guys form as a band? How did all that happen?
Man,
Well, we'll let Mauricio.
Oh, okay, and take that one. So this all goes back to, I want to say, I guess the roots start at about 2020. So 2020, I get a random message from somebody in a band called the Rambling Souls, which Gabe was a part of. And they were looking for a new singer, and they invited me to join up. So it was pretty cool that it happened that year when, everything was shut down. Nobody was playing shows. Me personally, man, I was in a really fucked up place. Can we cuss on here, dude? I'm sorry.
You can.
So, dude, it gave me rock and roll when I really, really needed it. So I met Gabe, and we actually developed a really tight bond and a connection, more so than any of the other guys, right away, really fast. I worked with them for about close to a year, and we all kind of mutually decided it wasn't really working out. So I went ahead and stepped out, but I kept in touch with Gabe for, maybe about the next year or so. Mm-hmm. We would talk every few weeks, every few months. We'd I would go out to catch their shows.
So Gabe was still jamming with them.
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, man. So I was like, I need to do something with this guy. You know, this guy has something that I want, and you know, it's been, like you mentioned earlier, down generation. It had been a few years since I was last involved in the original band, and I was feeling that itch so hard, man, so strong. And so I was after Gabe for a while, man. You know, for a while he seemed a little bit, I don't know if it was hesitant, but we would talk and we'd have these long phone call conversations. He invited me to his place one time. We would hang out. And I was like, all right, man, let's go. Let's get this thing started. But after a while, after enough hangs, after enough, you know, talks and stuff, I did show him one song that I had complete and said, well, hey, man, this is kind of what I'm going for. If you're interested in something in this kind of vibe, kind of style, we can grow from here. And he dug it. And so after that, we're like, okay, well, we need a band. So we started looking for guitar players, drummers. We knew that we wanted to keep it a 4-piece band, I think, at the time. Yeah. So we were looking for drummers, looking for bass players. And, you know, you'd be surprised, man. I remember at the time when we were getting it going, I thought I was going to have my pick of musicians. And, dude, it actually didn't work out that way, man. Maybe they didn't like the song, maybe whatever. But after a while, I was telling Gabe, I was like, dude, I don't know anybody else.
Yeah.
And so I guess I'll let him tell you about, he brought Bob into the fold, and then we'll move on to Stan after that.
Yeah. So pretty much basically based off of COVID, you know, it was at a standpoint where, you know, nobody was out there performing live, out doing anything really whatsoever. People were still kind of figuring out what can we do as far as being in the same room together, even for that matter. And when in some of those early talks, you know, it was basically just kind of like, hey, man, if we're going to spend the time and the effort getting together and playing, let's not do this cover bullshit. Let's get together. Right. Let's do some original stuff and see where, you know, it can kind of come from there. And then, sure enough, I think 7, 8 years maybe. Yeah, I met Bob. A friend of mine calls me up and just like, hey man, I got a buddy who's playing over here off of this, you know, at the Leaky Barrel right there, the old Rock Island on Fredericksburg Road. Come on out, check it out. You know, let's go fucking hang and have some drinks and, you know, have a good time. So I see Bob, and I don't even know who the hell he was playing with, but I was like, dude, I could tell right away this guy was totally overqualified for what he was doing. And I was like, hey, man, one of these days we got to get together. So about 6, 7 years later, I hit him up. Hey, do you want to jam? You know, and it was one of those things where he thought I was probably bullshitting. But having brought him into the mix, an idea as far as, again, the down generation and doing my homework on Mauricio, I'm like, okay, I want to present something to this guy that, you know, obviously can clearly kind of just pull his attention with, you know, players that can actually, you know, step up to the test. So having pulled Bob into the situation, man, it was just kind of like, you know, very organic in the sense that we were able to like really, you know, check off a lot of boxes that I think both he and I, Mauricio, you know, were just kind of like, hey, man, let's kind of go down this avenue and see, you know, what can kind of come from it. And sure enough, man, I mean, then next in line was Stan, so...
Yeah, man, and I'll just jump in there to say that when we first got together with somebody outside of myself and Gabe, he said, hey, man, I got this kick-ass drummer. We're going to meet up at his house on this day. They send me the address, and I was like, holy shit, Pyron, dude. The Southside.
Holy shinto.
So
I didn't bring my cuete.
Dude. So I'm from the southeast side, you know, but by now I'm living, you know, far away from kind of where I grew up. And I remember thinking when I saw the street name, I was like, holy shit, like it's, I don't know. I felt something. I was like, you know, it's kind of like bringing me back home kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And so, dude, the first day I met Bob, it was fucking incredible. I was like, holy shit. I will say this. Myself as a drummer, and when we're going into maybe creating this band, what my hope was that I would find a drummer that was like way more than this band was going to need.
Yeah.
You know, because I knew it was going to be rock and roll riffs, you know, kind of, I guess you could say traditional style stuff based on the kind of stuff that me and Gabe, you know, grew up on and kind of were shooting for. But I'm a drummer, dude. So I love those bands that have like, there's a few of those bands where I thought like, dude, the drummer, like he said, way overqualified, but that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And holy shit, did we find that. So we actually have to like rein him in sometimes where it's like, well, you know. But
And he looks cool, and he's not scary.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. He's like, dude, he's the guy like straight up from like the Rockstar movie, man. We're taking band pics and stuff, and Bob, stop smiling, Bob. We're trying to look cool. So
He has a big smile.
last but not least,
Stan
was
the man.
Mr. Stan, and the only reason for that is because, like you mentioned earlier, one slight thing that's not entirely true is Gabe's not the only guitar player in the band. Mr. Stan is an
Okay.
amazing,
Yeah.
incredible guitar player, and that
Nice.
is I've known Stan for many, many years, dude. It's been like I don't even
okay.
know how many. 10 over maybe
Oh,
over 10
really?
years.
Oh, okay.
We've been around each other a lot. There's been several times over the years where we've been kind of close to maybe starting something, and nothing gets going. So when I was thinking about bass players, he didn't occur to me because
Right.
I knew him as
He's
a guitar player. He had only just then jumped on the bass on some other projects.
Well, I mean, I'm not a musician, but is it safe to say that any guitar player can be a bass player?
They can play the instrument,
But
they
not-
can't think like a bass player.
Yeah, okay, I
Right,
got it. I
right,
get it.
right.
Mindset.
Yeah, tell me, Stan. I don't know.
Yeah, so dude, it was one night I was sitting there and I was like, holy shit, that's right. Stan fucking plays bass now. So, I called him up. I said, dude, we're starting this band. I got a few guys. Here's the song. It sounds like this. And, dude, in the amount of time that it takes to listen to that song, he texts me back. He's like, I'm down,
I
dude.
got
Tell me
it.
when to meet up. So,
Here's the
Stan,
track.
tell him
I
about
got it.
yourself.
Yeah.
We already told him somewhat about
Yeah, pretty much. But like I said, I'm a guitar player first, and I did that for many years.
That's cool.
Um,
So, because of that fact, Stan, you contribute
I can
writing and stuff.
You're right. I can play the instrument and think as a guitar player, but because of that, when I started playing bass, it took me a lot longer to get out of that guitar player
Sure,
mindset
sure.
and be like, hey, there's a different sonic space you got to take up. Your role in the
Sure.
band is different. But since we don't have a rhythm guitar player, that almost equals up to I need to fill in more space. Even though I got to
Right.
rein back as a guitar player, I need to fill in because
Right.
it's when he's
Right.
there and it feels empty. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I use a dual. What would a guitar player do?
Especially when he's soloing.
Exactly. You
Sure,
got to
for sure.
you
For
thicken
sure.
it up. So
I
I
get
think
it.
what would a rhythm guitar player do? What would a bass player do? And that kind of influences the overall sound that it comes out to be. But yeah, totally.
I get it.
The
I get
writing and all that, we bounce ideas back and forth on bass, on guitar, and we'll all pick up each other's instruments and be like, hey, try it like this. What about this? I had this idea. And it's always, musical chairs with instruments, but it produces cool songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it seems to me that you guys got the the band together. I was asking downstairs, because sometimes I meet bands and like, yeah, we've gone through some evolution. We've had members come and go, and then now we have the legit lineup. But this is the first legit lineup for Rebel Angels. Absolutely. First legit lineup. That's great. That's great. And you guys are hitting it out of the ballpark. Yeah. Sometimes it takes a little while to figure out, like, oh man, the drummer's not working, or the fucking bass player's not working, the singer's not working, and then you got to go through some changes. But looks like you guys got it right the first time.
No, it worked. I'll say this: the day that the four of us got in the room together, I walked out of there. I don't want to speak for everybody else, but I walked out of there and I was like, "Holy shit, dude! This
This is
it."
legit.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
legit. It's legit. And right? I mean, at your tenure,
Yeah.
At your tenure, Okay. When I first heard Rebel Angels, I was like, yeah, it's fucking good fucking heavy rock. I dig it. And here at our program, we cover all genres of music. And because I'm a fan of all genres of music, and when I think about hard rock, I love Dangerous Toys, I love Skid Row, I love fucking GNR, AC/DC, all those good heavy rock bands. And you guys kind of fit right within that kind of genre. Was that always like the idea? Was it like we're gonna be like a heavy rock band, or did it just kind of manifest itself organically like that?
I think I had an idea of what I wanted the band to sound like. I have a lot of different influences from fucking heavy ass metal, power metal, death metal, melodic stuff.
I know you love power metal, Mauricio.
But I've had times in my life where I've become really obsessed with different genres. But for me, it always circles back to, like you said, just the true hard, heavy American style rock and roll.
Yeah.
And so I knew that was part of the kind of decision that we wanted to keep it like a 4-piece, really fucking cut and dry. One of the funny things is, well, we didn't want it to sound too old school, which we knew that we kind of might be in a little bit danger of, given our influences and whatnot.
And all the bands that I just mentioned were old school bands.
Yeah.
But there are young bands that are doing rock, and I'm gonna say this band's name, and I love this band, Greta Van Fleet. I love that band. I remember when they first came out, people were like, "Oh, Led Zeppelin, buddy." But fuck all that. I'm a huge fan of Greta Van Fleet.
They sound great.
They sound great, and so there is an audience for that vibe.
Yeah, I'm definitely grateful to bands like that because they've definitely breathed some fresh life into the genre. The interesting thing is that once we got the 4 members together, and so like we told you guys earlier, the first song was a song that I kind of had on the shelf for a few years. The first 2 or 3 songs that we started collaborating on were riffs of Gabe's, and I think the 3rd or 4th song is when we started actually working on material that developed with the 4 of us in the room. Not like, hey, I got a riff, check this out. It's not like 4 of us would be in there and we'd be playing around on the instruments, and next thing you know, a song would develop. Yeah. And you talk about influences. The great thing is, like, me and Gabe have a lot of similar influences. Bob comes from a whole different world than us. Stan has his whole line of
so he doesn't count.
No,
they outvote you.
The funny thing is like, we kind of joke about how we all hate each other's favorite bands.
Yeah.
But dude, when it comes into writing and meshing those styles, dude, I think that has really been the beauty of what we've been doing.
Sure. So, when would you say the band officially formed? When was the officially formed date of the band?
Well, I'll say this, because it was like somewhat of like a prequel before it really got started.
Yeah.
So like we said, we started getting together at Bob's house. Everybody was super excited about what we were doing. Early September. I forget what year it was.
September 2022.
Yes. So
I got an interesting story about that.
we started jamming out. The first batch of songs started coming together really quickly.
Yeah.
Really quickly. They would
when there's good chemistry, it's easy.
Yes. So,
Easy.
Mr. Gabe, out of the blue, dude, we had been hanging out for, I want to say it was like 6 weeks, maybe less. And Gabe one day shows up and he's like, dude, do you guys want to open up for Saliva?
The fuck?
So Gabe, tell him about how that came together, and then pass it back up.
So yeah, like he just said right now, Bob, we were basically like 2-3 songs in. Right. And we were like kind of like working out this stuff as far as hashing out, how we wanted to like start and all these songs or whatever. And then a buddy of mine hits me up, from Starry Night Amphitheater out in Ingram, Texas.
Yeah.
And
Where?
Ingram, Texas. Starry Nights Amphitheater.
Where's Ingram, Texas?
About an hour out.
It's exactly heading towards Kerrville.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And he was like, hey man, now he was talking, and in retrospect, as far as my last band, saying like, hey guys, I got an offer, for you guys, whatever, pay you to come out here and play, whatever. Long story short, those guys couldn't do it. So I was like, you know what? Hey, what's the deets on this, man? Give me everything, whatever I need to know about this. So it was opening up for Saliva. So Wayne Swinney was still here, God rest his soul. And I was like, you know what? I have an act that can fulfill that spot. I said, let's make this happen, So I end up going to the next practice to the guys, and I was like, hey, dudes, y'all want to open up for Saliva in like 2 weeks? And they were like, holy shit, how long do we got to play? I was like, 45 minutes. We got 2 songs.
That's a long
What do you want to
time.
do? I was like, well, let's start fucking writing, So, man, that was such a lucrative situation to where I already threw our name in the hat, and I was like, that's it. There's no turning back.
Right.
And at the time, we were going under
the name Rebel Angels was already.
No.
We didn't have a name.
No, we didn't have a name.
Oh,
so we went under the moniker of Whiskey Rebellion. So yeah.
Oh wow.
Which is a cool name in itself. So
Okay, let me say this. So if that was the first
incarnation.
band's gig under a different name. Yes. Wow. Okay.
Opening up for an accredited national
What was
act.
it? Whiskey Rebellion?
Whiskey Rebellion, yeah.
Wow.
So I'll say this: we all threw a bunch of names and words and phrases out there.
That name. Let me guess.
That
Who
was
drinks whiskey?
one of mine. It's actually like a historical event from the early American, right after when the American nation was a fledgling country. Blah blah blah. I'm a history nerd, dude. These guys know it, but I won't go into it. None of the names were actually very good. That's the one that was like the least worst of, right? We picked that. We had to turn in something, so we picked that. The important thing was we went to do the gig, and I think we had a few more songs. I think we had maybe 15-20 minutes of original material.
Yeah.
We're like, well, we're gonna need some more.
Yeah.
So we continued writing, and we stuck one cover in there, but we did the gig, and dude, the chance for the four of us to get on a stage together, and it was a big stage.
Yeah, I would
We had
imagine.
time
Yeah,
to
yeah.
run around,
Yeah.
and so we came off of that
As your first gig.
first gig.
Wow.
Yeah, and there
That's
was some
cool.
there was some great acts on the bill.
It's cool.
Yeah. So we came out of that gig and we're like, okay, we definitely have something. That was funny because I think it was like on the drive home that we were like, okay, but I don't think we're not going to be Whiskey Rebellion, right? Like, what are we really going to be called?
So the reception was good.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, it was good. Some of us had our significant others there.
Yeah.
We took the feedback from them, and it was great. It was great, and also we got to know each other on stage, so we knew we had something. So we went back to so that was about September or so, and I think it was close to the new year where we had our first official show as Rebel Angels at the 502 bar.
That was 1 year?
No.
That was
a few months later. So it was about September from that first gig with Saliva, and then in December, about 30th, I think.
Who came up with the name Rebel Angels?
So when we went back to think about names that we, what we were actually going to call the band, Bob had a big part to do with that because we knew we didn't want to be Whiskey Rebellion, but
Right.
he liked the rebel aspect of it.
Right.
And so did I, honestly. So he was like, dude, we threw around a lot of different iterations of names with rebel or rebellion in the title. And Gabe threw out a name that had angels in the title. And dude, and it's funny because you guys are actually sitting in the same fucking place where we were that day at Stan's house. And so Bob was like, "Oh man, it has to be. I like rebels." And Gabe was like, "Whatever it was, angels." And so I'm sitting in between them, and it was literally like, "Rebels, angels, rebels, angels." And I'm like, "You know what, dude? How about?"
Said like River City Angels or something like
Something
that.
like
I'm
that.
paraphrasing. And I was like, River City, San Antonio 210, River City Angels, this is, and they were like,
Sounds like a biker gang.
yeah, if that's not already taken.
I was like, no, it sucks.
Yeah. So that was pretty much kind of how that was,
Wow.
So, dude, I had like the two guys on my shoulders, rebels, angels, and I said, you know what?
Yeah.
How about rebel fucking angels? And we just sat there and we're like,
Nobody had nothing to say.
I think that's it.
I think that's it.
There it is. There it is. And just like that. I love the spontaneity of how it's the beauty of the spontaneity of how some things just happen, Yeah. And it's just fate, bro. It's just fate.
And I think the name, in a lot of ways, and we won't dig too deeply into every detail, but dude, I think the name really, really fucking represents each one of us, our backgrounds, the type of individuals that we are, the shit that we've been through, and the message that we're trying to get across with this band. So I really like the way things came out.
Well, you know that the Rebel Angels were sent down into hell. After
Absolutely.
they betrayed God and all that.
Right. Well, see, my outlook at it is like we do understand that, but the way I kind of see it is, you kind of get to decide which one you are.
Sure.
Are you the rebel? Are you the angel? Are you both? Are you like, are you an angel that's undercover doing
We're all
like
kind of both, right?
messed up stuff that you
We're all
maybe shouldn't be
kind of both.
doing? Or are you the
We're all
rebel
kind of both,
like me, who grew up in gangs and all sorts of stuff? But I always considered myself like, I'm not a bad guy, dude. I'm doing good when I can.
Fuck yeah.
And so, dude, it really
None of us are perfect.
personifies, I think, who we all are. So
Yeah. I saw that you guys pretty quickly were getting recognized, and I saw that you guys were on Ken's 5 Great Day in SA morning show, right? It was a morning show?
morning show, yeah.
And I thought it was so fucking cool because not only is it a legit platform to promote the band, but the guy who gave a little quick chat, and then they let you guys play.
Yeah.
That was fucking cool.
Yeah.
That you guys were playing, right?
Yeah.
How did all that happen?
Who was that? Oh,
Where did it?
my brother had gone to college with one of the
Producers
there.
Yeah.
And my brother tagged me and said, "Hey man, they're looking for bands. They're looking for like unique,
Wow, that's cool."
And again, we were still kind of fresh, but
they're looking for like cool, moderate rock bands. They're not looking for fucking death metal and shit. Yeah, I get it. Tasteful shit, yeah.
But it was cool because when we played there, they were like, man, like they could hear you at the other studio. Y'all were playing too loud, which is what we are kind of known for. Like, we bring the noise. Yeah, we bring the noise no matter how small the venue, which is kind of
it's so cool. Like I can't stress enough. And I tell a lot, especially like a lot of the young cats that come through my studio, that relationships and networking and how important all that is in getting things accomplished with your band. So that was cool, man, that he kind of connected with you.
Yeah.
And so they were like, bring Rebel Angels on.
And that's how I like it. I've been doing this since 2000, 2001, and it's cool because me being the drummer, I do the artwork, and Stan, being the bass player, he's the sound guy, he's the lights guy, he's the engineer behind everything. And Gabe is the one that knows how to talk to people to get the shows. So is Mauricio. Like in this group alone, it feels a management within itself, which I've never felt in a band before, and I think it's like a superpower to have that within everybody in the band. Like it feels that much stronger to maybe get it further because we have that ability within ourselves. So.
For sure. I mean, you have to have, and that's why some bands who don't have those kind of personalities in their band, that's why they hire managers, because, they don't know how to communicate well or they don't know how to improve their, move their agenda forward or get taken advantage of or stuff like that. But that's cool, man. I thought that was awesome. I'm like, oh man, look at these guys are here, performing in front of that audience, even though it may not be the the rock or metal audience of San Antonio. Still, the name is getting out there. And the video will live forever.
It was a great experience, dude, and like especially,
dude, I saw dude. Also, too, like you guys came across like very savvy, and I know Mauricio did most of the talking, and Mauricio, you did a great job, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You didn't sound like an idiot. You were like smooth, bro.
Well, considering the fact that
how many cups of coffee did you have that morning?
Well, considering the fact that we had to be at the station around the time where I'm usually going to bed, it was definitely a little bit different. But man, it came off really well. The crew, to include the anchors, the anchor woman, the producers, everybody, they didn't know what they were about to get into. They just thought, because they have music acts pretty regularly. But dude, they received it so well. And, you talk about where you might find yourself playing in front of. And so in the studio, there was only maybe about, 6 people in there. And, when we get done performing it, dude, they loved it.
Yeah, of course.
They loved it. They received it really well. So, and now it's kind of become somewhat of a regular thing where maybe like every half a year or so we kind of come through and kind of give the updates of what we're up to. But it helps out a lot.
Never hurts. And what time was it again?
What time we have to be in there?
We had to be there at 6:30.
About 6 in the morning, 6, 7 in the morning, something like that. Yeah.
All of us are getting
So it's like 9 a.m. and we're like,
are you ready to rock?
At that time, and I'm starting to open up and crack open a beer.
I was watching the video. Gabe's like this, like.
Yeah.
Mauricio's talking. Gabe's just all like.
Yeah.
Tell me when I'm on.
When it's time to rock and roll, everybody comes alive.
Yeah.
We did what we went there to do. So
that's great, man. Continue to do it if you can. Great medium by which to reach and broaden your audience. And I think with the style that you play, it widens your audience to a huge gamut of music lovers here in our city. You guys have a couple of singles out. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was the live version of World on Fire? Is that the first single that was out? Like legitimately or unlegitimately?
Yes,
right.
That's
the first recording that was kind of out.
Piece of material that we actually put out.
Yeah. When was that?
Well, that was recorded last year at the Stable Hall. I forget the date.
Summerfest 2024.
It was Summerfest.
Okay.
Heroin was on there. Grupo Tantan. Some of the guys from Piñata.
Where was that at?
At the Stable Hall.
Where's that at?
Over at the Pearl.
The Pearl, the historic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was a great gig. We recorded the entire
And did the
performance.
engineers, the sound guy said, "I'm going to record your show"?
Well, we went in there. Yes, that was Bauer. Chris Bauer.
Chris Bauer?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I know Chris Bauer.
Yeah, man.
And did Chris Bauer just record that song or the whole show?
How did it work out, Stan? You know the details.
Yeah, well, we also got Mark West in there, did the video. So yeah, we got Bauer's audio, we got Mark's audio.
So you have
his
the audio
video.
for the whole show?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah,
And video. It's
save that. Put that in the archive somewhere.
that it is
for
It's-
later for extra shit.
it's in the
B-side
vault.
shit, whatever. Yeah, that's cool, man. And then in December, you released your first official recording for "Sucka For You."
Yeah.
Guys, I fucking love that track. That is an amazing fucking song. And I didn't want to ask you earlier, as you were saying, I brought some songs to Gabe, blah, blah, blah. How did that, when and how did that song kind of come together? That "Sucka For You."
That was one of the songs that we started writing as a group. That was like one of the first jams, because like when you got, okay, we're going to do this, but when you're not, you're kind of noodling around on different stuff.
Yeah.
Gabe was noodling on something. I was like, man, that's kind of cool. And I started playing the bass line to
intro
it.
guitar player, yeah.
And then that also started because, like I said earlier, we move around on each other instruments, and that was one of the times my was like, "Hey, why don't you do that here and play that there?" And I was like, "Hey, that sounds good." And slowly but surely, it just kind of. And then he heard my bass line and say, "Hey, I want to change my guitar riff to match that." And then Bob just fills in everywhere. The powerhouse. He comes in. That train runs, and if you don't hold on, it's just gonna keep going. It don't stop.
Yeah.
So that was one of the first ones that we really wrote as a group. That was our third song. Yeah, there was two that were presented to me, and then that one right there was our third song, but the first one as a group we wrote together.
And for all you people out there who have not yet seen the cover art for the single "Sucka For You," go ahead and check it out. It is out on all music media outlets, so go be sure and download it and check it out right after this interview. I love that track. It's amazing. It came out in December of last year. I'm just waiting for the next singles to come out. So what singles are next? I mean, is that the plan, to release a few more singles in 2025?
The way we're feeling right now is yes. So I believe the next single that we'll be releasing, which will be here in the next month or two, is going to be "Just a Dream."
Yeah.
The song that started it all. After that, we'll probably do one more. I think it's going to be "Trippin'."
Yeah.
We all kind of agree on that.
Yeah.
And then that'll be it, man. By that time, we're going to have the full album ready. And the cool thing about that is, like you said, the first piece of music that we put out was "World on Fire" live at the Stable Hall.
Yeah.
But after "Trippin'," we're going to release everything, and you'll be able to hear the "World on Fire," the studio version, which we hope that everybody's going to love. I know everybody's going to love. Yeah, man, then it'll be go time.
So that's like 3 singles coming up for early 2025.
Yes.
Guys, send me those MP3s when they're ready.
Yeah, man.
So I can help promote their release, okay?
You'll be the first.
I'm a fan, bro. I'm a fan. That's why you're on Rob's, That's why I called my show Rob's MetalWorks, because the bands that are on my show are the bands that I'm a fan of. And these are the bands that I think our viewership are going to be a fan of. Right. So I can only talk about you and promote you if I'm in the know. And I want to jam your shit right away because I'm a fan. So send me the stuff. All right. correct me if I'm wrong. Is there also chats of a full length or an EP later in the year?
Well, that's going to be the full length album that's going to be coming out.
So when the singles, okay, because I know there's so many different marketing strategies that bands employ nowadays. Like, so like they'll release singles, and then at the end of a certain time frame, like we're gonna compile all these singles into an EP.
Yeah.
Is that the plan?
Well, these songs are all written already.
Yeah.
We cut it at 8, and we decided this is the first batch of songs. This is the time capsule that encapsulates, us meeting, coming together, getting to know each other, where we were in our lives at the time. Me especially, writing the lyrics and stuff. I used that was an opportunity for me to, get out a lot of stuff that I was dealing with.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be 8 songs. We got into the process of recording them.
Wow.
Like we mentioned earlier, we kind of started and stopped.
That's a full length record. 8
that's
songs.
a full, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I know we had a little preliminary chat about this downstairs, but let's talk about the recording of these tracks. Sucka For You sounds fucking great on my stereo. It sounds pro, bro. So whatever you're doing, it's working. So share with the people a little bit about the recording process, the technical side of it.
Anybody want to take that?
Stan.
Mr. Stan?
Yeah, Stan.
Yeah. So we're doing everything there at my place, Rock City Studios.
Rock City Studios. How cool is that?
Yeah, it's nothing fancy, just a COVID project. Got laid off, so I had a bunch of time, and I converted half of my home into a recording studio.
What?
Yeah.
Was
In
your
the
chick
West Side.
okay with that, or did she?
Well, the one I was with is no longer, so
That's why she left.
That's why I got rid of her.
Fuck this, Stan.
That's why it's okay.
Yeah,
Where am
man.
I supposed to cook tortillas at?
Not here, bitch.
When I say that he built his studio, he built the studio to include the fucking room.
Stan looks like one of those dudes. Like he's like a.
Yeah, well,
Hard worker.
I'm an electrician by trade.
Oh, man.
So
All right, good to know.
You got
I
it,
need
brother.
somebody. I'll hook you up.
Drummer, guitarist, don't matter.
Carpenter, todo.
Todo feo.
Todo.
But yeah,
He's the kind of dude you need in your fucking and guitar player and bass player. What?
Yeah.
What more could you fucking ask for?
so yeah, we did it all there.
Rock City.
Nothing fancy. We used Bob's drum kit. I know a lot of places. Oh, we got our own kit, or we got this and that. It's like, we're just gonna use what we got.
Yeah.
Use his kit, my mics, recorded everything there. There was a couple parts that we had to redo, and it's good to goes back to playing more than one instrument. We had to redo the guitar part, and I had to put the wah in, and Gabe wasn't able to come in. So I had to do some wah parts for him, and then redo some drums, and it just helps that we're all together. But it was all done there. We shipped it out, to get the best sound, and I think it came out really nice.
Dude, that's the beauty of it. You guys are a cohesive unit. No egos, no fucking, working together as a team towards a goal, and you guys have the same vision. I'm going to say this, and I rarely say this to bands, but, every band, has its leadership. And sometimes there's bands who are so cohesive that what keeps them together, what keeps them moving forward, what keeps them successful is the fact that they all believe in the vision of what they can do and accomplish. Now, there's some bands who let stupid shit get in the way of that. Whether it's alcohol, drugs, chicks, fucking politics, power, whatever. And that's stupid shit, bro. That's stupid shit, And, I see more bands believing in the vision when they say, we got a real group of dudes here. We're mature dudes now. Forget the petty shit.
Right.
And let's commit to the vision.
I think in part of that, as far as the time that we have vested, as far as individually, having done this for now quite some time, it's one of those things where there's no such thing as an ego trip.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So sharing that same vision and the sense of trying to do something that which is bigger than, of course, all of us, as far as conjoined. It's just one of those things where we're just adding the elements in which we have to offer. You know what I'm saying? So the sense of not having the most savviest of like passageways as far as the guitarist, less is more. That's my whole derivative point as far as like being a guitar player. It's not about having to be the most flashy of the flashy. That's been done. Okay, so what can I do as far as adding my own reference onto the point as far as the music that we create? And then having a vocalist, lyricist like Mauricio. Come on, that's a dime a dozen. It's just like this guy can do things that not too many people can do. Having a drummer like Bob, who's putting in all the eccentricity, like, that you would think of the Danny Careys into like the most simplistic form of what it is in which we do. The man over here on the end, Stan, who's got jack of all trades, wears many hats on the production aspect of things as far as being a guitar player, bass player, drummer, everything. They make my job that much easier. For
sure.
But the sense being is just like, we're just being ourselves, man. And that's what Rebel Angels is,
For sure. That's a beautiful thing. And, I would say you guys are fucking blessed dudes, because there's bands who fucking musicians who struggle their whole lives, their whole careers, trying to find a chemistry like that.
Yeah.
And you guys are an identity like that. You guys have found it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Chemistry.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things about this band, and I think that's what really drives a lot of what you're talking about to make everybody continue believing even more and more in this project, is, like we said, when we get in that writing room, and maybe it starts with a riff sometimes that Gabe introduces, or sometimes it starts just from us there jamming out, like Stan said. Somebody's hitting the lick and like, hey, what's that? You keep doing that. And we'll develop a song, or whether it's a riff that hey, I got this riff, let's work on this. And then the thing that grows out of that, and it winds up being something like so far away than I even had in mind when we started. And we end up with a jam that's like, holy shit, where did that come from, dude? With Bob's drums, with Stan's bass playing and ideas that he comes up with. Stan has been one of the biggest ones that adds, flavor. Yes. And dude, I can tell Stan, dude, I think right here in this part, give me something kind of like, dude. Stan has a way of understanding what I'm trying to get out with not too many words, and he's just like, I got you. How about this? And I'm like, fuck yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Bob's like a toy, dude. He's like the little monkey drummer, right? I'll say, Bob, try this for me. Okay. I was like, never mind. Try this for me. Okay. And he'll humor me, and he'll try everything I ask him to try. And I'm like, forget it. Go back to what you were doing. That's but great. It lends itself to the creative process, and when we walk out of those experiences, that's when we're all feel like, dude, this is the ticket, man. And we know that we're only scratching the surface of what the potential is here. So,
because of the well, first of all, let me say, Bob, continue to humor him, and to keep the peace.
Yes,
right, to keep the peace. For sure. I mean, in such a short amount of time that you guys have been together, as you continue to stay together, the cohesiveness will continue to prosper and be fruitful and generate more beautiful music. I always tell bands, like, man, if you got a good band of dudes and you get along, you love each other as brothers, you're gonna make good music, bro. Yeah. You're gonna make good music. Believe it or not, let me tell you. I'm gonna tell you something. Back in November, I had a barbecue here in my house, and a lot of bands came. And there was this band, very prominent band. If I said their name, you would know who they are. And the guitar player of the band, who I've known for many years, said, "Rob, man," I said, "How's everything going?" He said, "Oh man, I don't know, not going too good." I said, "What happened?" He said, "Our drummer told me that he hates me, that he can't stand being around me."
Jesus.
Yeah, and I told it, and this dude's like he's the guitarist, the singer, the main songwriter, and I said, "Well, fucking fire him, bro. Get rid of him." And he goes, "I don't know, man. He's such a good drummer, though." But yeah, dude, it's crazy how some bands continue to work together despite the fucking friction involved. Yeah.
Well, you know, to be honest, you know, I hate Bob. I don't like this motherfucker. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
No, we're actually really blessed that we do have that. I mean, dude, I think it was like probably well over a year before we had like our first tiny little disagreement about
chat,
anything.
Right?
But,
And you know,
yeah.
that's not to say that there's never gonna be any disagreements or anything.
Right. It's
But
like a relationship.
But you have to have the wherewithal to say, let's work it through. Okay, let's do what's best for the big picture. Right.
Yeah, because I've been in bands in the past where it's like you say, I mean, the music is great, the materials is great, the musicianship is, you know, through the roof. But, you know, are you really friends with some of these guys? Maybe
Yeah.
not. And, dude, I mean, that is
Exactly.
one of the best things about
Exactly.
this group, dude. I mean, holy
guys are-
shit,
yeah,
how fortunate.
And I would encourage you to continue to build upon that, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about shows. Yeah. And did we say that the show that I shot at 502 was that the 1 year anniversary?
That was right around the 1 year anniversary.
The 1 year anniversary, the one that I shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you guys. I shot, and that was the first time I'd seen you guys live, and I was like, man, these dudes are killer.
Yeah.
I loved it. Thanks, man. Dude, I think that's like one of the band's greatest strengths. You guys are on stage, and, you know, I've always been able to see when I see a band live, I've been able to ascertain the vibe and the flow. And you guys have both, man. You guys are just like
Thank you.
up there. It reflects to the audience that you're having a good time.
Yeah.
That you really believe in what you're performing.
Yeah.
And that resonates with people, bro.
Absolutely.
And I think that's one of the reasons, too, that without a whole lot of music release, that you guys have accomplished so much.
Yeah. You know, we leave it all on stage. The stuff that we're singing about, the music that we're playing, it's some serious stuff. Some of the subject matter goes a little deep. I was, when we first were getting out on stages together, I had a kind of like a tendency to give like these little speeches about what this next song is about, and dead homies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And dude, my chick mentioned to me one time, she was like, dude, some of those, maybe tone that down
Simmer
a little
down.
bit. No, dude, but and we would get off stage, and I would have somebody come up to me and say, dude, I had this thing happen to me recently, whatever. Dude, that thing that you said before that song, oh my God. And so, it's like, hey, if we're resonating with the crowd, and that's what we're going for. We're singing about our own life experiences, and some of the stuff is not very pretty. And some of the stuff, sometimes I'm like a little bit, when I'm writing stuff, and I'm like, man, should I really be saying this stuff out loud? And then, you have somebody in the crowd say that is the line that hit them because they went through this or whatever. So me personally really gives me the confidence to kind of continue scratching at that.
Yeah.
I look back at the videos and I see Stan's out there wailing, and he's headbanging, and he's singing the words out loud, and I love that, dude.
And the thing is too, like I remember the first realization I had with that, what you're saying, is I interviewed many years ago. I'm talking like the late '90s. I interviewed this very popular band called AFI.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Nice.
And I interviewed Davey Havoc from AFI at the White Rabbit. And I asked him about a song, and then he said, Rob, what does that song mean to you? Because for every person that listens to this song, there's a completely different interpretation.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of music. So I guess, your chick was kind of right because, if you're telling people what the song's about, it might fuck with them. But anyway, all good. But again, what you guys do live is amazing to me. I think Stan throws it down well. Gabe, you're fucking awesome. And Mauricio, you're at the center of it all, bro. You're like the heart of it all. And, when I see you perform after all the time that I've known you and seen you perform previously, I'm like, man, this is like what years of experience has cultivated to now who we see in 2024, 2025.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude, you're like a vet now, bro. You're like a vet now, and you have fucking totally experted your craft.
Yeah.
that
Well,
even a
thank you,
word?
man. I appreciate that feedback.
Yeah,
You know,
It is
and you
now.
know, to me, you know, I'm getting a little older, and I've had several tries at this thing, and so you know, me like I'm out there every time, like if this is my one last shot, you know. So
Yeah.
and I think my guys are the same. So I'm really glad that that's coming across.
Let's talk about. I recently found out that you guys have a big gig coming up in April, April 25th.
We got a gig.
Yeah.
Before April 25th.
Oh, tell me.
So April 10th, we're actually heading out west, and we're gonna be,
Okay. Hold on. And this was one of my questions because I'm like, there's no way that Rebel Angels is going to go all the way to LA and not fucking do some shows in between that long travel. Am I correct or incorrect?
So as of now, you know, we're doing this one-off as
Okay.
far as heading out west.
Yep.
But we got our, you know, eggs in a basket as far as heading backwards, you know, back here to Texas, you know, with stuff that we can't really release as of now, you know, before, you know, it comes to fruition. But to that point, though, April 10th, yeah, we're heading out west. We're going to be playing at the Whiskey A Go-Go
Yeah.
over on the Sunset Strip. So we're
On
really
the 10th,
looking.
on the 25th.
That's April 10th.
Oh, I'm sorry. My
That's
info
April
is wrong.
10th.
I thought it was
Yes.
the 25th. No,
So-
April 10th at the Whiskey A Go-Go.
Yes.
In LA.
Wow, that's cool.
Sunset Strip. Yeah, man. It's
Dude,
gonna-
that's a humongous gig,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
I've been waiting my whole life for this.
Are you nervous?
You know, the nervousness for me comes in weird ways. My nervousness will hit like the week of the gig, and like all leading up to it, I'll start kind of freaking out a little bit. But you know, once the day comes, it's like it all just kind of, you know.
When you think about all
I'm not nervous
the
yet, but I think I
great
will be.
bands that have played on that stage.
Dude, I've been thinking about that like every day since it came
Guns
up.
N' Roses, bro.
Oh my
Come
God!
on.
Yes, and to go back
Skid
to just to
Row.
touch on what you said earlier, when the gig first came up, which once again it was Mr. Gabe that actually brought that to us, and I'll let him tell you about that in a second. But
Okay,
we
yeah.
did start thinking about what you just said. Like, dude, we're going to LA. Let's make the most of it.
Yeah,
Let's
for
see
sure, for
What we
sure.
can do on the way out. Let's see what we can do on the way back. And we actually did kind of start making some phone calls and start
Yeah.
planning some stuff. But then we realized, like, dude, this is actually coming on pretty quickly. Like, there was not a lot of notice.
For sure.
And so we're like, dude, if we want to plan like our first tour or whatever you might want to call it, we might want to do it with a little more notice than,
Right,
you know,
right,
2-3 months. So we kind of stopped and we made the decision to make the most out of this one gig.
Sure.
And believe me, we do have a plan
For sure.
to make the most out of the week that we're going to be out there. Some of us are going to drive, some of us are going to fly. We are going to do as much as we can off this one-off gig, and then we're hoping to maybe kind of come back and plan something a little further out that we can plan a little bit, strategize a little better and stuff.
That's okay. Focus on going out there and kicking ass, bro. Fucking kick ass.
Absolutely.
And then what's going to happen is people are going to be like, whoa, who the fuck are these dudes?
Fucking A.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they're
the
gonna
news
know.
will spread, and then you could probably book some shows a lot easier after that.
Yeah, they're going to know who the fuck Rebel Angels is, dude. That's for sure.
Okay, and what because I'm a video guy, I'm like, are you going to record? Are you going to video or audio recording the show?
Well, JB, you want to roll out with us? that sounds like a good idea.
We're definitely gonna rip that.
You have to do that. You have to video and audio this show, man.
But to that
Somehow.
point exactly, you know, we've manifested this, you know, since early existence, as far as all of us, you know what I'm saying? To go out there, head out west and check off this box, particularly as far as playing on the Sunset Strip, you know.
Wow.
As to whoever it was that, you know, may have graced that stage, whether it's the Doors, Van Halen, Guns N' Roses, Skid Row,
Yeah.
LA Guns, all of the above, you know. It's one of those things to where it's just like we all feel, and I can say this as far as across the board for the band, that we heavily hearted, you know, feel like we belong there. So it's not a matter of like, oh, whoever done this before us or whoever is wishing to captivate the stage, you know, beyond us. It's like, no, we'll have our moment on April 10th. Just be there. Lay witness to this because you know what? Hey, man, you're in for a rude awakening.
And I totally agree with that, Gabe, because when you think about the old bands, they had the old fans.
Yeah.
There's this whole new breed of fucking young
It's a resurgence,
kids
yeah.
and fans who are turning on to new music. Like, I remember when Greta came out, everybody's like, oh, they're just a Led Zeppelin. And I'm like, well, all the Greta fans that love Greta Van Fleet and are selling out their shows, they don't know about Led Zeppelin and they don't give a shit about Led Zeppelin.
It's irrelevant.
It's the same shit, dude.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. You know, it's just a new generation, bro. Yeah. I wish you guys the best out there. Again, make the most out of it. Record it as much as you can. Go out there and throw down. I know you're going to throw down well. What is the rest of after April, when you come back from LA, what do you want to do for the rest of the year?
Well, before that, real quick, March 13th on someone's birthday.
My birthday show here in town at Sam's Burger Joint.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing my birthday show, so we're hoping that's going to be a big pull. I mean, it's my birthday. I got a lot of family and friends that are interested in going, so we're hoping to make that a big.
You guys are headlining.
Spectacle. Yeah, it's us for 90 minutes at the venue.
So
An
no
evening with Rebel.
no openers?
No opener. Yeah.
What the fuck, really?
Yeah, I'm kind of scared too.
Oh, okay.
Rob, come on.
I'm going to go shoot.
No pressure. Okay, yeah.
You'll be our guest.
JB, let's go.
We hope this airs before then because being a month prior to the
For
LA
sure,
thing,
it will air before then.
So
let's talk about that show. Let's promote it.
Yeah, so March 13th, it's a Thursday the 13th.
I haven't seen a flyer for that yet.
We got it out there. It's circulating.
Send it to
Bob's
me.
big
Send it
old
to me.
face right up in the front, so you know what's up. And we're hoping to get as many people out there as we can. We're going to be trying to sell shirts and merch.
Yeah.
You know, come out and buy something. Everything that we raise from this show, we're going to put it towards the LA trip. So
Yeah,
if you want
okay.
to be a part of this, come on down, man.
Great. I will be there. I will be
Absolutely.
there. And with my video camera. Man, I used to do shows at Sam's Burger Joints back in the day. And I remember, I know it's separate, the venue and the restaurant.
Yeah.
Right.
If you go into the restaurant and you take a left to where the Johns are at, my picture used to be on the wall. They used to have my picture on the wall. It's probably not there anymore. That was a long time ago. But
another one up.
yeah, I hope so. But yeah, remember everybody, March 13th, Sam's Burger Joint, fucking really promo show for the trip to LA. Be sure to come out and buy some merch and check out a killer ass an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. man.
Holy smokes! And
Yeah,
we're gonna
wow.
hear.
You're gonna
Are
get
we
your
gonna
money's
hear
worth.
like Trippin' and all the new songs, or
Oh yeah, the Coming Ticket Show in Austin.
right?
Correct.
April 24th.
Yep.
We're gonna
yeah.
hear Just a Dream.
Well, on Bob's show, yes, you're gonna hear every
wanna hear all the
Rebel
shit.
Angels song to date, and we'll go ahead and announce it right here. We're gonna have a brand new, never heard before song performed at that gig.
Wow!
So come on out. I believe after that, when is the Come and Take It gig? I forget.
So that's April 24th. So after we finish up the LA run
Right.
on the 10th, we're going to come back on the 24th and we're playing in Austin, Texas at Come and Take It Live.
Okay.
And we're going to be opening up, offering, local support for Earshot. So Earshot, big band, has got songs as far as syndicated on, 99.5 Kiss
Yeah,
and
yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
Early 2000s big band and whatnot. We're heading out that way, man, and we're going to be, playing a show with them on the 24th of April, too, as well. So
Sounds all good, bro.
To go back a little bit to your question about what's in store for the rest of the year, I think our plan, we have a few points that we want to hit this year. We are going to start hit. One thing that's been kind of holding us back a little bit from venturing out is not having the material ready, the album, the music, to kind of be able to play and leave something
For sure.
behind for the fans.
For sure.
And that is right around the corner. And once that comes out, it's going to be all systems go. So we are going to hit all over Texas, wherever we can, big cities, small towns, big towns, everywhere that will take us. And we, like I said, we have one or two nationals that we're going to hit this year. we're hoping to line up somewhat of a national run before the end of the year. So yeah, man, we're looking to take this out.
That was going to be my next question because, I think it's so important, especially if you're a fucking good band, to get out. San Antonio is our home. We love and respect San Antonio and the cloth and history of our city. But good bands need to break out. You need to leave our city behind and be successful out in the national market. All right, guys, let's move on. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is there not any official video of the band right now?
Well, yes.
Music video?
Yes
because
and
I've just
no.
seen fan recordings.
Yes and no. So, like we said earlier, we did record the full show at Stable Hall. So
but it's not out. It's not out.
Well, World on Fire Live is out with the video to go along with it. So you can actually
World on Fire.
Yes.
Oh my God, how did I miss it?
Yeah, so you can go onto our YouTube page and check that out.
Okay.
Now we're going to be releasing those every so often.
Okay.
We actually hope to release like the full length I guess DVD or whatever you want to call it nowadays. Yeah. When the album comes out, you're going to have all the live versions as well.
Nice. I'd love to see
as for an official video, like a shot video that's not live on stage, we have something in the works. And
it doesn't have to be a production video, bros. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, if I were you guys, I would do a live performance video. I mean, an official video with a professional recording.
Yeah.
But I think you guys, one of your strengths is what you do live. I don't want to see a storyboard shit. Yeah, I want to see you guys throw down. Yeah. Okay, that's just my 2 cents. But yeah, I'd love to see official pro fucking performance video from you guys. And I'll tell you, once I hear all your shit, I'll tell you what song I want to hear too. But Sucka For You is a great song, and I can't wait to hear your new music, guys. As we end out, again, you guys are experienced guys in our music scene, and I know that there comes a point when you get in a band and you're like, man, this is the real deal. And there's a lot of trials and tribulations to get to that point, and also a lot of people who help you and support you to get to that point. So I want to give everyone an opportunity, each of you an opportunity. Let's start with Stan, and an opportunity to share any love or shout out or anything to any family or friends who have helped you to get to this point in your career.
Yeah, of course, Mom and Dad for making me.
Yeah.
Dad for inspiring me on the music path.
Your dad was a musician?
No, my mom's side is a musician.
Oh,
they come
okay.
from the Tejano and all of that type of music. My dad's rock and roll.
Yeah.
Old school rock and roll. The Kinks, the British Invasion, Stones, Beatles,
wow, the
all
Kinks,
of that
that's
stuff.
cool.
McCoy's,
Yes. So he really focused in on, hey, listen to this. Yeah, I really enjoy this. And then the music talent came from my mom's side. And my brother, he's the one that got me my first guitar. I was 10, sat in the closet for 2 years, didn't touch it. And then Something Out of a Blue started when I was 12 and never looked back. But really everybody else in my career, per se, the good, the bad experiences, you learn from them all. And it's, and it's what you take from that to make yourself a better person.
For sure.
My wife, Savannah, she's a big influence. She helped. She's the one that made the black and white outfit, wardrobe, the koozie there. Like, I have a lot of support.
She's the one that allowed you to turn half the house into a studio?
No. This was the
that was
different house.
That was after.
Yes. No. Yes, no. But no, really all the people around me that have gotten me to this point. No man's an island.
Yeah, for sure.
So they really, that's it.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
Same for me, man. My dad was one of my biggest heroes. He passed away kind of recently, and he was one of my heroes. And anytime I would go to him and show him something, he's like, "You don't know what drumming is, boy. It's this. So that kind of like mentality inspired me to just keep reaching out and keep studying and keep trying to get better. And that's kind of like how I ended up the wild guy that kind of can overdo it sometimes, but it's because of studying, and it was thanks to him and my brother. My big brother is the same inspiration. Like the way a big brother talks shit to somebody, and it's not good enough because blah blah blah. Like he helped me develop that discipline to always think that it could always be better. And I learned it in art. I learned it in music. So those two are the biggest. And mom teaching me to be a dreamer, and of course the extended family that's blood and not blood that are always there to support. And these guys have seen it, who shows up to every show and supports the art, supports the music, supports whatever I'm doing, just because it's all about the love that they have and support me. So it's them that makes me who I am. So
let me tell you, thanks for sharing all that, Stan. That was beautiful. Because I can tell you're being, you have a lot of transparency in that. But it's always better to have too much and scale back than it is to not have enough. So you're on the right track, bro.
These guys tell me a lot that it's come the fuck
we can
down.
Scale back to what we need, but it's always better to have more.
Yeah,
that's great,
they let me know that.
That's good, man.
Many more times.
That's good. All right, all right.
These guys too.
You want to go next?
Go ahead, man.
So for me, I got to give up the biggest recognition to my older brothers. I'm the youngest of four, and so
Four brothers.
Four brothers.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's rough, bro.
Yeah. But
That's rough.
The beauty of that was that, when I was first old enough to open my eyes and ears and take a look around at the world, what did I see? Rock and metal posters all over the wall.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Iron Maiden, all that stuff. My oldest brother, George, played guitar. My brother, JJ, played the drums. My brother, Marco, he played a little bit of bass. And I actually got into music myself on my brother JJ's drum set. So I was about 9 years old, and he was like in high school or so. And, every time he was a real cool dude. So he'd go to parties, and he was always out doing something. And anytime he wasn't home, I was jumping in that room and jumping on that drum set. And, when I would hear his Trans Am coming down the street, I'd have to get off and yeah. But
it's almost like inevitable
for
you to be a musician.
But, as I got older, the first chance that I got to play in bands was in my older brother's bands, man. They had a band called Black Falcon.
Wow.
I started playing drums for them. A little while later, a little bit after that, when I started singing, and my brother JJ played drums for my first original band that we put together.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, so much that I learned about rock and metal, and watching them perform live for a long time before I got my chance on the stage. It all comes from them. So I'm really grateful to that I was kind of born into that world. And I got to give it up to my mom and dad as well, because, they hated heavy metal. Their music is the rancheras, the norteño music, the Spanish music. So we didn't want anything to do with that. Sadly, I kind of regret that now a little bit, missing out on that part of the culture. Yeah, exactly. So they hated our music. We kind of hated their music. But to their credit, like I said, I would play drums day after day for hours and hours and hours. And as much as they hated it, they never made me turn it down or turn it off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, my family,
Nice.
Mr. Gabe.
Yeah, man. To my two older brothers, I'm the baby of the three brothers,
Yeah.
And for them, to kind of give me the whole essence as far as like, the whole blues trip, as far as, all the Texas sound, you know what I mean? So everything from the Vaughn brothers, to, ZZ Top, and it was just like, when it was the Moving Sidewalks, you know what I mean? Everything before ZZ Top even became who they became, these guys were on the very, very forefront as far as what that became. So listening to that, and then of course, all the alternative move, with everything from the Seattle movement, from the early 90s and all that, and kind of brashing out the heavy metal, the hair metal stages and whatnot. I was very, on the forefront of all that before I even knew that. So listening to that, you know, and just kind of like, you know, pulling my pieces to it and seeing Stevie Ray Vaughan, you know, early El Macombo, you know, in Toronto and just doing his thing or whatever. And I was just like, holy shit, I want to do that. That was what brought a guitar in my hands. And after that, I was like, you know what, that's what I want to do. And if I can offer any kind of severance whatsoever to anybody in that nature, subjectively, as far as music's concerned, you know, I want to do that.
Gabe, I think you've done that, bro. I think you've done that in a short amount of
Appreciate
time.
it,
Rebel
man.
Angels. I remember checking you out playing. I was like, oh man, this dude's fucking cool. Look at this fucking guitar. He's fucking cool. And the way you throw down is super cool too, dude. I also like that fucking maroon Strat with the mirror fucking plate. Do you still have that guitar?
So,
That's
quick
a
question
badass
about
guitar.
that. Quick question about that, because
come on.
I know my fiance's watching at home. I know my fiance's watching at home.
Yeah.
So she picked that up at an estate sale, and she was like, "Babe, you think this guitar right here can kind of like, you know, be something down the line as far as you can use to kind of implement any kind of sound or whatever?" And I was like, "Yes, get it." So for the price in which she'd gotten
Is
that,
it a Fender?
it's a Fender, yes, with the '60s actual reissue neck on it. So I looked up the serial numbers. And I did all the homework on it, and I was like, you know what, this guitar right here is going to stay in the
For sure.
in the field.
Sure.
So I named that Ella Rose after her sister's, you know, niece, and it was just like it all came together, you know. So putting the mirror pick guard on there, whatever, you know, it's a beautiful guitar.
Babe, just buy
It sounds just as good as it
It's
looks.
beautiful. Guys, thank you so much for a fucking amazing interview. And I think that people after tonight are going to know everything about Rebel Angels. And the only thing that we're going to anticipate is what's fucking coming next. So thank you guys for coming over.
Thank you,
to
brother.
The studio.
Happy to be here.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're going to party a little bit more, right?
Hell yeah,
Got a
man.
little music to jam.
Nah,
Got
no.
more beers to drink.
Real fun starts now.
And yeah, the real fun starts now. Thank you guys so much. And I wish you guys nothing but continued success. I hope we can do this again
Absolutely.
next year after the record drops and after you release more singles. I will be, of course, following what you're doing on social media. But again, you know, send me the stuff. You know, it's always going to stay in the Rob's archive, and
Yeah.
I can't talk about you unless I know what's going on, and I want to talk about you guys. I'm a fan, and I love Rebel Angels. And all you people out there, after you finish watching this interview, go out there, download Sucka For You, great single, and continue to follow the band on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and of course on Rob's. You will continue to hear about developments with the band. Remember, everybody, you saw Rebel Angels only right here on Rob's Metal.